Hello viewers, here is an AT&T cordless telephone. It's a 5.8 gigahertz digital or digitan cordless phone. Model E6014B. And as you can see, it had this tape on here. I already went ahead and took out the handset to see if there was a battery. It was just sitting in there, taped in there. I found this phone at the thrift store, which is, I'm assuming, why it was taped up like that. They usually do that with their phones, so hopefully this doesn't peel off any of the printing. Usually they're more careful to use something like masking tape. And as you can see, this left a lot of residue, which is quite sticky. Let me see if I can peel some of that off with the tape itself. Okay, yeah. Seems like that might work. Okay, so I'll finish that a different time. As you can see, it was not very expensive. And in fact, it was half off that day. All the blue tag items were half off on the day that I got this. So I paid $1.58 total for this, which really is not bad at all, even though it did not come with a battery or the AC adapter. Now, I don't actually have any AC adapters on hand that would work with this, technically, but I do have one that I already tested out, and it does work with it. I'm just not going to be charging the phone, because this phone calls for a DC 9V 600 milliamp adapter, and the only one I have is a DC 9V 300 milliamp adapter. So plugging this in and using it would pretty much be an electrical misdemeanor. But the plug does fit properly. And if I'm not going to charge the handset, it shouldn't be drawing full power from the adapter. So this should at least get us through the video. And as you can see, the screen here is very cloudy. And this is actually one of the ones with color displays. The battery I have for this is currently wrapped in paper towel because it's sticky. I got this from my AT&T E2801, and the foam inside the battery compartment for that phone had completely disintegrated and turned sticky. And I don't want to get any of the stickiness into this telephone, because as a matter of fact, while it does have foam, it's not sticky in the slightest. It is perfectly fine. So let me go ahead and plug in the battery. Whoops. I was trying to show you the screen as I plugged it in, then the battery plug just went ahead and came out. Okay. Might be kind of blurry, I'm not sure. It's hard for me to see the screen of the camera from this angle. Of course, with the paper towel, I can't really close the battery cover. But whatever. So, there we go. This has a weird looking blue backlight, almost like a really deep blue for the buttons. And it apparently was handset 4. This was the only one on the shelf at the thrift store, so I guess I'm going to have to see if I can clear the others out from registration. So, let me go ahead and delete anything that's in the radial, directory, and call log, and I'll be right back. Alright, that has been taken care of, and I also went ahead and got off the stickiness from these buttons. Vinegar cleared that right up. And the screen was actually really cloudy, so I put some alcohol on there, and that took it right off. So now it's a lot easier to see. So let's go into the menu. Okay, it's got a nice looking interface here. We've got the directory, settings, the display, call log, sounds, and ringer volume. Whoa! Okay, geez. Well, good to know that it at least distorts like the classic AT&T phones from this time period, which is like the late 2000s to early 2010s. So sounds. Let's do ketone first. Oh wow, okay, that's actually really hard to see. It's got a banner that moves to select which one it is. Okay, it's just on or off. Right, ringers. Oh, it's one of those. I've heard phones that have this type of ringtone synthesizer or whatever before. Cool. Jeez, these ringtones are not the most interesting. Wow, okay. I guess the best one is this one, at least of the unique ones. Let's see if that actually distorts. Maybe a little bit. That really has an odd sound quality to it. Alright, I already went to the call log, which as you can see is empty. The directory is also empty, but let's add a phone number to it, just so we can see if it stores anything. Okay. Yeah, it seems to be working. These buttons feel kind of clicky. Interesting. Alright, let's do the display, and then we'll go to the settings lastly. Contrast. Interestingly, it's not all the way up. There we go, that's a lot better. Now for the wallpapers. The display is actually pretty good resolution. Although why you'd want just a single color is kind of weird. Yeah, there's some interesting ones on here for sure. Okay. It's got a trilingual display. Alright, currently it is 345. Oh, huh. You have to, I guess, manually move it. Oh man, this is ridiculous. Okay. So you have to select it. That's kind of weird. Okay. Not that it was on, but there we go. And that's it. So honestly, this telephone is kind of a basic phone. Now let's go to the base. Thankfully, it doesn't have the change operating system.
Calls will not be answered.
Jeez, that's pretty loud.
Calls will be answered.
Wow, okay. I guess I have to turn up the voice volume. Okay, let's start with the clock.
2014, 9:45 p.m. Friday. To set the clock, press clock.
Alright, so I guess this phone hasn't been used or at least set up since 2014. That's pretty cool. And for some reason it announced the year first.
2014, 9:40, 2014. To change the year, 2021, 2024, 9 p.m. To change 8 to 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
That goes nice and fast.
14:06. To change the minutes, press Friday.
That's
to
actually
change
correct.
The day, press skip or repeat.
And that's actually
Press
also
clock
correct.
When you are 2024, 3:14:06 p.m. Friday.
That beeper is so loud. Okay, announcement.
Announcement, press play or press record. Hello, please leave a message
Okay, it's just
after
on the
the
default
tone.
announcement. So let's record a new one.
Record after the tone. Press stop when you are done.
It's got a pretty convincing fake microphone, but I found the real one. It's right here, by the way. Whoops. It's got a pretty convincing fake microphone, but I found the real one. That actually sounded pretty good.
Record after the tone. Press stop when you are done.
The recording quality of this answering machine, at least on the greeting, is not that bad. The recording quality of this answering machine, at least on the greeting, is not that bad. Wow. Okay, let's record a memo.
Record after the tone. Press stop when you are done.
This is a testing memo to see if the message quality is as good as the greeting quality, which I really hope it is, because honestly, that greeting sounded quite good, especially for a digital answering system. So I'm speaking directly into the microphone right now, and now I'm holding it about a foot away from my mouth, but still pointing the microphone towards myself. And now I've got the bass in a normal position, although it's not resting on the floor, and it's a little bit further away. And now it's back on the floor. Okay, goodbye.
Recorded.
And it didn't look like there was any way to retrieve messages from the handset, which is kind of unusual. Nope, I don't guess so. You can do intercom, although not to the base. So since this is handset 4, I'm guessing you could have intercommed to any of the other handsets. Let's just see what happens when it can't find it. Perhaps it doesn't realize that it can't find it. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, let's listen to the message.
You have one new message. Friday, 3:47 p.m.
This is a testing memo to see if the message quality is as good as the greeting quality, which I really hope it is. Because honestly, that greeting sounded quite good, especially for a digital answering system. So I'm speaking directly into the microphone right now, and now I'm holding it about a foot away from my mouth, but still pointing the microphone towards myself. And now I've got the bass in a normal position, although it's not resting on the floor, and it's a little bit further away. And now it's back on the floor. Okay, goodbye.
End of messages.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as good, but that's actually still really good, especially for, like I said, a digital answering system. So lastly, let's go through the setup menu.
Number of rings, 4. To change the setting, press 6. Pulsate 2, 4,
It's got a nice big display on there, too.
6.
It's really unusual that they fill up the entire window with the actual LED segments.
Pulsate 2. Base ringer, low. To high, off, low. Remote access code, 19. To change the setting, press skip or repeat to 20. 22. Message alert, tone, off. To change the setting, press skip on, off, on. Number of rings, 2. To
Okay,
change
and that's
the
it.
setting.
And I guess also I can do the handset locator. Yep, not a very useful tone, but there it is. So, let's start with the test calls by making one from the handset. And of course, just like I discovered in the last video I made, if you don't plug in the phone line, calls cannot be made. Ah, jeez. That's really loud. Okay. Oh yeah, it's got the volume buttons on the side. That's actually pretty cool. Whoops, I took too long. That 7 wasn't audible at all. And the others had a strange click at the end.
The number
It is working.
605-767.
That has good volume.
2676 is not in service.
It's barely
If you
distorted.
feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again. Thank you.
Okay.
The number you have reached, 605.
Sound quality is honestly pretty good.
726.
And on phone mode, sounds like it's pretty loud.
Try your call again. Thank you. The number you have reached, 6726676, is not in service. If you feel you have reached this recording.
Okay, it does indeed have decent sound quality.
2676 is not in service. If you feel you
And
have
flashing should work. I don't think without a pause in there, that would have worked correctly. We already did intercom. Okay. Now I'm going to call up this phone and leave a testing message. Nice, it has that bass ringer.
The recording quality of this answering machine, at least on the greeting,
Call screening is on.
not that bad.
For some reason, my phone is currently getting a lot of Wi-Fi interference, so I'm going to go right next to the base. Perhaps I should use a different testing phone, or at least for initiating the test calls.
You have one new message and one old message. Friday, 3:53 p.m.
For some reason, my phone is currently getting a lot of Wi-Fi interference, so I'm going to go right next to the base.
Actually, I bet that's
Perhaps
not
I should
Wi-Fi.
use a different testing phone.
This is also a
at least for
5.8 gigahertz
initiating
phone.
Test calls.
End of messages.
Okay, I'll call it up again, and this time go away from it in the other direction. Don't know why my PBX crapped out for a minute there.
The recording quality of this answering machine, at least on the greeting, is not that bad. Yeah, it sounded quite good, and from what I could hear of the message, it also sounded pretty good. So this time I'm going to leave a longer one, and let's see how it sounds when I go on a speakerphone. I just set the phone down on a table, and I'm currently about 3 feet away from the telephone. So I'm going to start backing away. I'm about 6 feet away from the telephone now, and now I'm all the way about 8 or 9 feet away from the telephone. And I know the speakerphone on this one is quite good, so hopefully the answering machine picked up the distant audio just as well. Goodbye.
Okay, let's listen to those messages.
You have one new message and two old messages. Friday, 3:54 p.m.
Yeah, it sounded quite good, and from what I could hear of the message, it also sounded pretty good. So this time I'm going to leave a longer one, and let's see how it sounds when I go on a speakerphone. I just set the phone down on a table, and I'm currently about 3 feet away from the telephone. So I'm going to start backing away. I'm about 6 feet away from the telephone now, and now I'm all the way about 8 or 9 feet away from the telephone. And I know the speakerphone on this one is quite good, so hopefully the answering machine picked up the distant audio just as well. Goodbye.
End of messages. You have three old Friday, 3:53 p.m.
For some reason, my phone is currently getting a lot of Wi-Fi interference, so I'm going to go right next to the base. Perhaps I should use a different testing phone, or at least for initiating the test calls.
Friday, 3:54.
Okay. Yep, that sounded really good. Not quite as good as the greeting, of course, but honestly, this answering machine, especially with the speaker itself in there, which is nice and loud and clear, this answering machine is actually a really good one, I think. And it even has a nice bass ringer. Let's hear how loud that goes, actually.
Number of bass ringer, low, high. Remote access.
And I'll go ahead and put this one on a different ringtone. Alright.
The recording quality of this answering machine, at least on the greeting, is not that bad.
Calls will not be answered.
Okay, so now I'm going to leave a testing message from this telephone so I can test out the speakerphone.
1. New message and 17. Old messages.
Testing, 459. This is starting out on talk mode. And honestly, the screen retains really good contrast even when the backlight is off. Unlike on my current only other color display telephone, the AT&T E6014B. So we're going to place this phone down on the floor. Actually, it seems like the screen may have a bit of a backlight as well when the main backlight is off. So I'm currently actually holding the phone around arm's length and I'm speaking at the same volume. Now it's on the floor. And I'm now about 4 feet away from the telephone. I'm going to start backing away without changing the volume of my voice. I'm currently about 6 feet away from the telephone. And now I'm about 8 feet away from the telephone. Now I'm all the way back at about 10 feet away from the telephone. And it sounds like the machine is still recording. So hopefully this phone has really good speakerphone pickup. Goodbye. Testing, 459. This is starting out on talk mode.
Okay.
End of messages.
So honestly, I think the pickup was really good on speakerphone, but it had a bit more of a muffled sound quality compared to talk mode, which also didn't sound perfectly clear either. And of course, there was a lot of background noise being brought in because the battery cover was not on, and the paper towel in there for the battery was just rustling around. But overall, this telephone sounds like it has really good outgoing audio. Okay, here's just a last demonstration of the backlight. As you can see, it's totally off when the backlight's off, like the screen is completely off. And then if I pick up the phone itself and wait for the backlight to go off, the screen retains a bit of a backlight, even after the buttons and the main backlight have gone dim. Or at least have turned off. Which is honestly pretty nice. So that will be it for the initial checkout of this telephone. Overall, it's a really solid phone. It's a lot more basic than any of the other color display phones that I've seen videos of or worked with myself, but it still is actually a really high quality phone. So thank you for watching.